has their certification examinations as well, and this is one of those mysterious questions. Everybody making it for the first time is also struggling a little bit. So I'm going to ask the question like they always ask it. So how many customers and how many customers is already indicating that we will most probably have to count our customer by their name. So that's what we are going to use in the visualization itself as a measure. And how many of those customers made 1, 2, 3, let's say the full range of the maximum amount of orders one of our customers has made in our data set. So if we have one customer having made 17, 20, or 55 orders in total over the past 10 years, let's say, we want to see that full amount of orders over in the x-axis, and then dedicate the amount of customers per bin. So in this visualization, we are using a built-in technique of Tableau, being the binning technique, and we are first generating the conditional calculation on which we are going to base those bins. So what we need to do for this is I'm always going to try and show what the end result is. So this is already our end result in the screen. And now I'm going to start from scratch for you guys to show you the process of getting there. So keep it in mind, take a mental picture, let's say, because if you're going for a Tableau examination in the future, chances are this is going to be one of your questions. New sheet, naming it appropriately. The max orders per customers is in fact what we are going to calculate. So we are back to our customer names, our full list of customers. They have made orders. All right. So we are going to take a look at the orders and count them. This is on, I dragged in one wrong one. I need to count, and I tried it with my fast select key, order ID on text, and I want to count. And you can see a list popping up, and this is done without any LODing, whatever. Why? I don't need an LOD in this visualization because I can see my customer name is in here. But in the result calculation, you don't have that level of detail. You don't have that customer name in there. So if we go back, we can see that we are counting our customers, but our customer name, there are not 2000 lines, let's say here. We are binning based on those values that get repeated for the customers. You can see 8 orders for Alan Dominguez, also 8 orders, and it's those values that are going to create our bins on the x-axis. But I first need to pick up this value and keep it in the background, and it needs to be picked up for every customer to later correctly assign that customer to the correct bin. And how we can achieve this result. So we are looking at the count of order ID, nothing new here. To keep that level of detail of this visualization later, where we don't use that level of detail, we need to create a level of detail calculation. And this is going to be our LOD customer name amount of orders. And in fact, it's the maximum amount of orders. All right. We are going to start by getting our syntax in order. So fixed, and we are already in 1/3 of our calculation. Now the dimension we want to fix on customer name. In this case, nothing new. We can see the customer name in the visualization here. That's going to be the level of detail we want to fix to. And then we are going to calculate the maximum order ID. Count, because our maximum is not going to give us the correct result. We need to do the same as our visualization here. Count distinct of our order ID. That other one would just give us one value, in fact, the effective highest number of order ID. That would have been funny, let's say. So now one bracket too much. Fixed on customer name and count the amount of orders per customer. Clear. I think that is clear for everyone. I made a very weird name for my calculation, and this is done. LOD customer amount of orders. Okay. LOD amount of orders. We are now going to generate and use a built-in functionality of Tableau itself, being the bin functionality. The bins, you can already see. How am I going to use these bins? Bins amount of orders per customer. And you can see Tableau does suggestions, the sizing of the bins. You can see down below in the center of the pop-up screen is the range of values being minimum 1. And there is one or multiple customers, but there are a few customers making 17 orders in our full data set already. I want them to be distinct bins of per one extra order. I want that customer to belong in either the lower or upper bin. So per extra order, that client gets moved around in my visualization, let's say. So I want bins of size 1. If I press OK, I have those bins on the left, and they are now generated. I am now going to clear my view here. I'm not turning around, but clearing. I am going to use that generated bins on columns, and you can see it going from 1 to 17. And now there's only one thing left to do. It's going to be a count distinct of my customers, and they will be added to that correct bin. And I've made those labels appear as well. And this is one of the this is a question you'll probably get in a CA exam. So I wanted to share this with you guys. You can also ask yourself, why is this going from 1 to 17, but we are missing 14, 15, 16 as column headers? This is just because the fact that it won't have values for 14, 15, and 16, but there is a trick to get those back in analysis, menu analysis on top. Table layout, show empty columns, and you'll see those empty column values appear again in your visualization itself, because sometimes it also makes sense to emphasize the buckets or the values where there are no values, just to indicate that this is not a mistake of the visualization. There is just no customers making distinct 14, 15, or 16 orders up until this point. It can be in the future. So that way it makes sense, and that's just a little trick. Never forget that you can find those table layout options in the analysis menu bar. All right.